Hello and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the weekly show that we do on this channel, recapping the news, the channel news, the game news, things that have happened throughout the week. So let's kind of just jump into it. I guess we can probably start about that. Phil DeFranco finally acknowledged that that's a meme. It's been a joke on YouTube for at least a little while now. I've been making it for a while now. Because that's just how he started every video, and he's been on YouTube for so long that like anybody who does this kind of interaction with the camera, where it's like camera, YouTuber, audience, many of us actually kind of like were influenced by Philip DeFranco and his channel. So in many ways, yes, this show is directly influenced by the Philip DeFranco show, which I guess is a bit of a reveal that's not really that big of a reveal. Yeah, I mean, just look at it. It's the same concept: blurry background, nice foreground. Like, yeah. But I digress. That's actually technically another one. But if you know that one, I'd be more impressed. So what do we have going on the channel? Well, next week, probably Wednesday, I want to say. I'm not really completely committing to a deadline on this. I have a video about the things that I wish I knew making video games when I started. Specifically Blender to Unreal. There are a lot of tips that I'm going to share that I really wish I knew when I made my first character model, all the way up to the one that I've just finished. The only reason that I'm not committing to a deadline, even though it's scripted and I even have the models for it, is I'm going to create a unique test character for these videos that involving Blender that essentially like will only be for YouTube content. So that character needs to be designed and modeled and created, essentially. But I have the base model, which is actually one of the things that I'm going to talk to you guys about in that video. So that's the only reason why I'm not committing 100% to Wednesday, but hopefully by Wednesday it will be done and ready to go for you guys. An update on my injury and the vlog. Injury is healed. I think healed. Yeah, it seems like it really was just a micro injury caused by improper use of footwear. Not really my fault this time because yeah, I barely even skated in these. They're not nearly as destroyed as the S's, and yet that is what they look like, which to me pretty much says that they were cheap shoes. They were bad when I bought them, probably, and in all seriousness, I injured myself ever so slightly from improper footwear. This is why, honestly, as a skater, try shoes on. Like, I've bought shoes online a couple different times, and I've gotten screwed every time I've done it. It's like for every good pair of shoes I get online, like the S's, I get a bad shoe. So honestly, if you've got a skate shop close by, I would go to it to try them on, because not all Vans fit the same. Not all, I'm sure not all S's fit the same. That's literally the first pair I've ever worn. So, and then those were America's? I don't remember. Another E company. The shoe itself, just, it's not very good for wide feet, and I destroyed the shoe by just wearing it. So yeah, injury is healed. Next week when I can get some more skate shoes, I will, and we will go out and street skate. In fact, actually, I think the end of the vlog will actually be me going out with the boosted board, a skateboard, going to a shop, buying some skate shoes, and then maybe skating the spot nearby to where I would be buying them. So cross my fingers that I can do that. Yeah, let's just say I'm gonna hopefully have the courage, because I've been off my board for almost a month now, and it sucks. It really does suck. So, vlog incoming, other video incoming, and then Let's Plays incoming. This weekend we should have another 3 episodes of It'll Do. I say should because I'm queuing them up to render as this video is going live. So, hopefully they will be up if there's no issues with the rendering, and we will be good on that front. So, 3 more Let's Plays gonna be between Saturday and Sunday. And so yeah, awesome, right? Nah, well, some people think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. So let's go into the game news. Okay, so game news. This week's been kind of weird in game news. We did get a bit of, I guess, sad-ish news. Reggie Fils-aime, who's been the president of Nintendo of America, has announced his resignation. Now, I'm gonna be honest, like, Reggie was a pretty good president for Nintendo of America. He was a personable leader, I guess is what you would want to say. He had memes behind him. He honestly played into his own personality quirks and the internet culture around him. He made a lot of good decisions when it came to marketing, even though he pretty much had no control over the content. He did honestly make some pretty awesome decisions when it came to advertising the Nintendo systems that he was involved in, and his stage presence definitely helped sway people over. So he did a really good job as president of Nintendo of America, and just like when anybody who's been doing it for a while leaves, it feels like you're gonna lose somebody. That being said, he is fully retiring. He is not going to another company. He literally just went, I have enough money now in my life, I'm going to retire, which is actually very noble of him, and I wish you a good retirement, even though you probably will never see this video. But from now on, you know, everyone will just remember my body is Reggie. So, yep. Okay, so here's something that I actually kind of predicted coming. I don't know if I actually have footage of me predicting it coming, but I did kind of talk about this a little bit. And it's not because I know somebody who works inside of Microsoft. This is just entirely speculation on this front. So we knew that Xbox Live was coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I actually was speculating that this could lead to something related to Game Pass. And what was really weird about that is I was specifically like, maybe Game Pass, or specifically Xbox taking some of the games that they published onto the Switch. Now we've got a fresh rumor saying that Xbox Game Pass is on its way to Nintendo Switch, and certain Xbox published games or Microsoft published games will also make it onto the platform. One of those games that has been brought up was Cuphead, Ori and the Blind Forest. Games that would go really well on Nintendo's platform. All I'm hoping for is Banjo-Kazooie. Because, let's face it, where would you buy Banjo-Kazooie? Would you buy it on this or on this? I'm pointing to the computer, if you didn't notice. I personally would play it on both because I have played several platformers on this, and I own ukulele on both, and I'm going to own Hat in Time on both. But I would prefer to play it on the Nintendo console, just because that is my platformer machine. So yes, I would love to see maybe the classic Banjo-Kazooie games get re-released for Switch, please, because I love those 2 games. Speaking of dead IP, that's a wonderful transition. Scalebound might actually be alive. There is a bit of a rumor that it started kind of weird. It started when on a podcast, one of the games journalists said something about a game that was very much dead is now coming back, and he just has to corroborate a couple more sources. Literally like a day afterward, somebody went, it's Scalebound. Now, do we have much to go off of this? Not really. Not to mention anybody who you can ask on Twitter will block you. If Scalebound is alive though, that is amazing. That being said, the platform of choice is the weird part. Supposedly, according to the rumor, Nintendo saved Scalebound. Now this isn't out of the realm of possibility though. Nintendo did pick up Bayonetta 2, and that's the whole reason we're even getting Bayonetta 3 on a Nintendo platform, is because Nintendo has been funding that game series. Astral Chain is another Nintendo exclusive, also by Platinum Games. Scalebound, made by Platinum Games, would be an interesting game to come to the Nintendo Switch. It looked like Devil May Cry mixed with like How to Train Your Dragon, and it looked awesome, and I honestly would love to play it. So yeah, Scalebound. Anthem sucks. Okay, so I kind of saw this coming, especially once the early coverage started coming out, that the game was very grindy. A lot of people are kind of comparing it to Wireframe and Destiny, and not in good ways. Anthem seems to be a game that promised a lot, but due to the heavy use of microtransactions, just doesn't feel right. Everything's grindy, everything's complicated, and then on top of it, there's been a bit of controversy around paid reviews. There's been a bit of controversy around Microsoft essentially like pushing the game because they have an exclusivity deal. Essentially, this game has been a dumpster fire. I do look into these things before buying most games. And it's kind of sad to see the game that looked like it finally would allow you to be like Iron Man in a video game be completely trash. So, yeah. But let's not end this on a sour note. Fortnite has been dethroned by two very unlikely competitors. Apex Legends is actually the Battle Royale game that a lot of people are talking about at the moment, and it seems to be doing a lot to actually dethrone the current king, Fortnite. That being said, it's not the only Battle Royale game to compete against it. And as weird as it sounds, Tetris 99, the Battle Royale edition of Tetris, is also doing well to carve out a little bit of that pie. Tetris Battle Royale is doing well. What world are we living in? Oh my goodness. All right, but that was the game news. Let's get into the tech news because we got some geeky things to geek out about. So our first story today is actually one that you're probably not gonna see that much because it's a weird story with a niche product at this point. The Radeon 7 came out, and to nobody's surprise, it is exactly what they said it was. No tricks up its sleeve. Or so we thought. Turns out it can overclock. Now AMD cards are actually pretty well known for their ability to overclock, and AMD is one of the most relaxed computer parts manufacturers who allow like full overclocking and actually have software built in for full overclocking. So the fact that Radeon 7 was able to overclock at all was not a surprise. It's just how well it's actually taking these overclocks. So it is actually capable of going to 2100 megahertz, 2100. That's amazing because it actually started at 1800. So that's a pretty decent bump, and that is before doing any voltage modification, which the Vega cards, honestly, if you haven't watched it, it's a beautiful video by oh god, why am I drawing a blank? Steve, Gamers Nexus, that's it. They went and took a Vega 54, 56, Vega, the other Vega, not the 64. They unleashed its voltage regulation, and they literally forced it into an overclock so high that it was competing with the 20 series cards, which is impressive, especially because like right now you can get that card for like $270. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. So once the serious overclockers really get going, once EK creates their water blocks for it, we could actually see the Radeon 7 cards running at much higher clock speeds, which would be kind of cool to see. That being said, I don't know if it's going to be too little too late, especially because we are expecting Navi sometime this year. Nvidia, they actually have two pieces of news this time around. Okay, so let's start with the less awesome one. Nvidia's DLSS technology has kind of finally been implemented in enough games for us to kind of have an opinion on it. And it sucks. Now, what deep learning super sampling did was actually kind of awesome. It would sample frames from a game like 1,000 times in a supercomputer or something ridiculous. And it would allow 1440p to be upscaled to 4K with like pixel assumption, which is kind of important to why it doesn't look very good. Everything looks blurry. They kind of describe it as Vaseline was smeared on everything. And in situations where you're like really far back and you have a really long render draw, it looks okay. But up close, it doesn't look very good. On top of that, DLSS has some limitations. For one, it doesn't seem to like to run above 80 frames per second. Now, it's kind of speculation that 80 frames per second is a hard cap on my part, but from what Nvidia has essentially said and how they are acting, there is a reason DLSS cannot run above 70 something frames per second. They essentially said that the graphics card has to be taxed, in their words. If it's not super used, then DLSS won't work, which doesn't make any sense. What does make sense is that DLSS is not capable of outputting at frame rates over, let's say 80 is, I think, probably close to where it's going to be. So DLSS can't output above 80 frames per second, so the graphics card has to be taxed enough that it's under 80 frames, and then that makes absolute sense, Nvidia. You could say that, but you're not going to, because you're not going to admit a flaw in your technology. That being said, if you don't care about DLSS or you don't care about ray tracing, which I personally don't care about either of them, the 1660 Ti, the worst kept secret in all of tech newsing history, that's a statement, is real. It's coming out. In fact, actually review samples have arrived in the tech reviewer circle. And yeah, from what it looks like, it actually performs quite well. Slightly weaker than I think 2060, but at the same time, at a $275 price point, you'll notice that number was repeated. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good card for a budget build. That being said, AMD did lower the price of the Vega 56 or whatever they're calling, Vega 54. I can't even remember numbers. They did lower that price to $279 to compete with the $279 Nvidia card, because that's how business works. That being said, it's cool to actually see this. Give me a 1680 Ti maybe, and then we will talk Nvidia. Because, yeah, I'm not buying a 2080. Especially not at those exorbitant prices for the 2080s right now. Alright, and that was Slice of Pie. Actually, I do have one story that I completely, totally omitted on accident. A little bit of update on the Nova build, which is my PC build. Cables are on the way. And I have my PSU, which you guys already probably know. But I did change the theme. In fact, I'm gonna pop up some preemptive design work that I'm doing. The reason I changed the theme is because I'm a little OCD when it comes to the colors of my setup. You'll notice my switch is green and black. My laptop is green and black. My damn Google Chrome tab that I'm looking at right now is green and black. Right now I have my RGB set across my entire thing, green and black. And one of the things I was struggling with was I really wanted to do custom cables from CableMod, but I didn't want to do gray, white, and black because then it would be color neutral for the RGB. Instead, I decided to do green and black, which ended up actually being cheaper. As weird as that sounds, like $50 cheaper to run. And I'm going to do green fluid in the tubes because it looks cool and I can get something that's UV reactive. And then that being said, that doesn't work well with the Sheikah Slate theme. So that theme, I'm actually canning it and saving it for a different build. I actually have a build that would look amazing as the Sheikah Slate, and I would do a little bit extra for that build. And this one, I'm just going to make kind of like a me theme. The circuitry theme is actually one that I really like. I don't know, something about just the lines. So yeah, it's just a quick update on Nova while the video is ending out. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Content is coming, as you guys know. And yeah, have an awesome weekend, everybody. Thank you guys again. Wolfie out. I don't know why I saluted. Oh yeah, because of the revolution. Quiet revolution. I haven't done that in fuck knows how long, but it's still in my video descriptions.